Hi everyone, Lady Lorelie coming to you. I'm in Guatemala, of all places, in this pool in the middle of the city. I'm waiting for my group to show up. We're gonna go to Lake Atitlan. This is the beginning of the Odyssey. And the rest of the crew is gonna be joining me shortly. So I'm just sitting at the hotel waiting, and I found this pool, so I'm just gonna chill out here. And while I'm here, I wanted to tell you a story. It's a story by Lori. So it's actually more of a dream that I had several years ago. It was a dream that actually shifted my consciousness, and it made me think so deeply. And it's changed me, to be quite honest. So I'll share it with you now. The dream started in a small town. It seemed like a kind of a European town, cobblestone streets, and there were brick walls all around me, and it was very dark. There was no one around. It seemed like the place was kind of overrun by darkness. And I found myself walking down the street and wondering why no one was out. And as I walked, all of a sudden these rebels, they looked like ninjas dressed in all black. They went running down the passageway right beside me, and I was kind of shocked to see them. They were like super scary and intimidating. And when they saw me, they like quickly turned around, and a whole group of them just swarmed me and began threatening me, like, get out of the town, get out of here, you're not welcome here. And they had weapons, like knives, and I just kind of looked at them and was like, no, I'm not gonna go anywhere. And they tried to intimidate me even more. And in the dream, one of the rebels, the ninja looking rebel dressed in all black, couldn't see anything but maybe some eyes, came at me with a knife and like jabbed it through me. But in the dream, the knife went right through me like I was air. And when the rebels saw that I couldn't be affected and that I couldn't be hurt, it sort of was stunned. And I just looked at it and was like, I'm not going anywhere. I will continue. And I kept going. And I just left them standing there wondering what the hell just happened. So I continued my way down these dark passageways, and as I walked, I found all these like archways, and they kind of led into different rooms, and again, the place was deserted. And as I walked into this dark alleyway, I peered through a doorway, and I saw a rebel, and dressed all in black, except the rebel was undressing and taking the clothing off. And beneath the clothing was actually a nun. And when the nun saw me, she realized that I knew now that the nun was the rebel and the rebel was the nun. And when she saw that I knew the truth, she came at me and she tried to attack me again. And she ran at me and she kind of pushed me against this wall, and again started like yelling at me. And I just, of course, was shocked. But then in the dream, I grabbed her around the neck, of all places, and I spun her around and pushed her against the wall. And I said in Spanish, "Que te crees, crea." And I don't know if I translated that right, but it's what you believe, you create, and what you create, you believe. In Spanish, the words are so similar. And I think that that's very significant, because it is true. What you believe, you create, and what you create is what you believe. And when I said this to her, she just sort of slumped back and fell down. And then in the dream, I continued walking. I passed under yet another archway. And when I passed through this archway, I had something in my hand, it almost seemed like a wand. And when I walked further, I took this wand and I started singing into it. And when I sang, it wasn't like it was my voice. It was something else coming through me. And as I sang, the children started coming out of the houses and they started following me, a lot like the story of the Pied Piper. And the children came out and I took the wand and I like pointed it at them and they all started singing the song too. And as the children sang and I sang, the adults started opening up the windows and they started coming out and they started feeling like it was safe again. So that was my dream. And I had that dream, gosh, probably before like 2009. And I have only waited till now to share this because it's a little bit, it's tough to tell people that the rebel and the nun is the same thing. We all wear masks. Everything has a mask. And it's up to us to determine and look past the masks. Both the rebel and the nun believe that their cause is worthwhile. And what you believe is what you create. But we all know that religions have created wars for their beliefs. And we know that rebels have believed themselves to be right because they fight against governments that also believe themselves to be right. So what do? We're all at this impasse. In my dream, I basically just threw all the beliefs and masks against the wall and I said, no more. And I began to sing. And I didn't sing my own song, I sang a song that came from somewhere else. And I think if I were to interpret it, it was the song of the Creator. It's the song of source love. It's the song that the innocent children hear and feel safe with and come out to play. And when the children can come out and play because they feel safe, then the adults come out and play. It's the return to innocence. It's the song that's within our hearts. And it's only our hearts that can determine and see through the masks. So I tell you this story in the hopes that with what's happening in the world, we can all begin to take our masks off and see through what's beneath it all. We are love, and you probably hear this story a million times, so I'm not going to preach it. I just want to share a story and let it dwell within your own heart, and you may interpret it as you wish. So until again, I say ta-ta.